Only if you know what Pep Guardiola is trying to achieve with Manchester City. He wants to recreate the Sir Alex Ferguson's era at the Etihad, and title race this time is explosive. It's certainly looking that way. It's going to within a point of Liverpool. They've got those big games coming up against Liverpool and against Arsenal, and this is going to be a title-defining few weeks, isn't it? It is, and I genuinely think Liverpool and Arsenal have to think that they've got to beat Manchester City. I think they have to think that way to create this monumental shift in belief that City have that they're going to win the league, that this is their time of year, that they're experienced, they've won 3 on the bounce. And I always think when we lost titles, whether it be Chelsea with Ancelotti, or Wiltord scoring at Old Trafford, or Overmars scoring at Old Trafford, the team that went on to win it came to Old Trafford and won. They didn't just come to Old Trafford and draw and get a point and think they did okay. They came and shocked us. And I think that's what Liverpool and Arsenal are going to have to do to take the belief away from this Pep Guardiola team, because they'll be thinking it's ominous at this moment in time. Liverpool got the point at the Etihad. Arsenal beat Manchester City at the Emirates. So while Arsenal have still to come here to the Etihad, the next game for City, and it's a big title game, is the game at Anfield. And that's Pep Guardiola's record there. Does that have any bearing, do you think, on what happens next week? Well, it's not great, but the rest of his record is pretty good. And obviously sometimes when you see records like that, you think, well, obviously that can be broken as well in terms of the percentage of getting results there. And it's going to be very difficult because you look at Liverpool. Liverpool are obviously hanging in there in terms of grinding out results like they did yesterday. And it's going to be very, very difficult. But Pep and Man City are more than capable of going there and getting a result being maybe a draw even. But yeah, that record's not great, but not many teams have great records at Anfield. As much as Gary says, Arsenal and Liverpool have to go out and win those games. If Manchester City win them both, could we be done and dusted by the end of March? Well, yeah, probably, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think Anfield's a tough place to go. I don't know what it is about the place when you go in there, and the atmosphere, and the fans. For some reason, they've just got an aura around there. And for some reason, going there, even going back to my time, never won at Anfield. And you see Pep record, one of the best in the business, just 1 win in 8. So it's going to be tough. The only saving grace, I would say, for Man City is that Liverpool are wounded with injuries at this moment in time. Depends who's going to be back fit for that game. Yeah, and that could be a significant factor when they face each other. And then, of course, it's Arsenal, and they're going to have to come here to the Etihad. And that with an Arsenal side who are in good form, who do seem to have a depth of squad now to draw in players. The ones who have been injured coming back from injury could be an absolute crunch game. Yeah, I mean, I said before the game, Liverpool have got momentum and energy and the clock factor on the way in. I think Arsenal at this moment are the best performing team, both defensively, and they've now started to take the stride in attack. And City have got the most experience. They've all 3 got something. But this is where we're going to find out about all 3 of them. Can City do it again? Can they get over the line again? Can Arsenal do what they didn't do last year? Obviously, they completely fell away with 10 games to go. This is that moment again. I always wanted to see Arsenal in the same sort of position again, with City coming here to see how far they've developed. I think they have developed. They've obviously got Saliba, they've got Rice, they're better than they were last year, they've got more power. I can't wait for these next couple of games, because we find out really what these teams are about. And Manchester City, that's the barometer. That's what they've all got to try and knock off the perch. And that's why I say you've got to come beat them. You can't just say, well, City might drop points at that ground and at that ground if you're not going to go and beat them yourself.
To beat them if you're Liverpool and Arsenal. And from City's point of view, the top 7, the current top 7, are their opponents over their next 8 games. They've also got the games against Copenhagen, admittedly, in the Champions League. They've got the FA Cup quarter-final coming up against Newcastle. It's all set for Manchester City between now and mid-April. I think the fact that they're even challenging on all fronts this season after winning the treble last season is a credit to them. But the games do come thick and fast now, and you don't want to lose a key player in this moment. I think if everyone's fit, I think it's always that timing of the run, isn't it? They always start a little bit slow. And then it's this time, the key part of the season, where they seem to perform the best. So it's going to be exciting for sure. And a little bit of luck thrown in there. They've got a home draw against Newcastle. And obviously they've had a really good result in the first leg of Europe. So all looks fine from that point of view.